for the video today. This will hopefully be the most organized live stream I've done, or organized video so far for the year. I've been very unorganized and kind of alphabet or not alphabet soup, word soup. Uh, but you know what? We got the Arkansas game coming up tomorrow. Let me see. And yeah, I think we're all good to go. Let me know if everything looks good for y'all. Comment down below. Like the video if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Game info. What do we got? We got the game. If you didn't know it was tomorrow, guess what? Hey, now you know it's tomorrow. Game's tomorrow. Okay. Where's the game at? The game is going to be in Vietnam. Some of y'all, that's Fayetteville, Vietnam. Fayetteville, Arkansas, Vietnam. That's more affectionately known as Vietnam. I do got a little bit of a glitch going on right there. I'm looking at it's showing up for y'all. I'm sorry about that if that bugs any of y'all. Seizure warning, I guess. Let me go ahead and throw that out there just in case. Never know. But game, Fayetteville, Arkansas. It is, as I believe this is right here. Nope, wrong button. It's going to be a little chilly. If you're out there, if you are planning to show up to the game as a Texas Longhorn fan, it is just plan accordingly. That's kickoff, 61 degrees. Might as well be freezing in Austin, Texas. Might as well be considered freezing in Austin, Texas. Partly cloudy. You're not going to get really much of a chance of rain. There's a little bit of a breeze. So, just maybe pack an extra layer. Hope for that sun to be peeking out of the clouds. That's what you're going to be wanting as an Austin fan. Now, also, real quick, while I go ahead, studio mode. Let's be a little professional here. So, while I try and fail at filibustering, let me see what I'm doing is I'm pulling up the injury report. I got a screenshot for y'all on that one. Going to go over that because Arkansas does have a few key injuries that are going to affect the game here. If this thing would let me load. But I'll go ahead and start with Texas. Texas, we're going to be missing Maurice Blackwell. Sorry about that. Had a little bit of an interruption. Somebody just found out the breaking news about Jonte Cook quitting football. And if you didn't know, Jonte Cook is no longer on the team. Did I say quitting? Yes. He either was kicked off or quit. Unfortunate. It is what it is. But neither here nor there anymore. So let's go ahead and talk about the injury report. As I mentioned, or was starting to mention, Maurice Blackwell. He's doubtful for this game. That really sucks. I'm a pretty big Maurice Blackwell fan. I actually got to meet his mom before the Red River. She was in one of the ticket booths. Really nice lady. Hoping he's all right. He's been in 142 snaps, 9 games. Was not a starter. He's been a backup guy. But in the SEC, the depth, this is a guy that you want on your team. He's a pretty athletic guy. We're going to be missing him out of the linebacker core, especially in a week where we got Talkin Green, who looks like he's gaining health. Now, we're going to talk about his rushing here in a second. But, as you can see down here, Talkin Green, he's looking probable. And he, as I just said, he is starting to get a little bit healthy. It's going to suck missing Maurice Blackwell if he doesn't indeed. And now, you know what? It's not 100% that Maurice Blackwell misses. Maurice Blackwell could end up playing still, so who knows. But a guy like Colton Vasek, or Vosick, Colton Vosick, I believe that's a correct pronunciation. That is, are we going to really miss Colton Vosick that much? Not really. Pardon me 1 second, got to fix my camera. This thing has been bugging out. Sorry about that. I mean, this thing, I paid a couple $100 for this thing. It just started going crap, and not. I paid for it last year, but you know, 2024, you pay good money for something, you don't get it for a good while. So back to the injury update, as we just was talking about, Colton Vasek. Are we going to be missing Colton Vasek as much? Not really. I mean, if that was a Colin Simmons right there, we'd be having a lot different argument or talk right here. But I mean, Colton Vasek, he's mainly coming in at the end of the third quarter and towards the start of the fourth, and I cannot believe it's doing that again. I'm just gonna keep on talking while I try to figure this out. But yeah, so I hope y'all enjoy my pretty face. Oh no, there it goes. Okay, this is just absolute. This is primetime cinema is what this is. I'm got to go back to the $20 camera. Okay, so trying to do this before this damn thing freezes again. Apologies for that, but Maurice Blackwell, like I said, 9 games, 142 snaps. Moving on to Arkansas, they're going to be missing a defensive back, Anthony Switzer. No, defensive back Anthony Switzer. 9 games, 179 snaps. That's not the only guy that's played 179 snaps for them. Now, none of those have been starts. So this is one of these depth guys. Now, not to say that he doesn't play. Obviously, he's played 179 snaps. That's a pretty decent amount of snaps, and he's played in every single game for them so far. So this is a guy that gets on the field. But he's just not a complete starter. Now, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the last name on this one, but Anton, right there. Anton, right there. Defensive line out 9 games. 7 of those games was a backup. The last 2 games he was a starter. So either he earned a role through injuries on the field, or he is not. And as you can see, there's not too many defensive line injuries right there. So that means presumably he started playing well, and he was now earning starting reps. Well, he's now out of the game. 9 games, 2 starts, 179 snaps missing on the defensive line, and then another defense back, Jalen Braxton, who really, I mean, this is pretty inconsequential for the sake of Texas because he hasn't been on the field since the second game of the season, but he started the game, 2 games, 2 starts, 77 snaps in those 2 games. Oh, there we go. It didn't. It came back to life. It spared me. And then they also this one probably look Kyle Ramsey. That one could be pretty consequential. Now look. It's not like he was a dead eye kicker at all. But the guy they have replacing him for Arkansas, he is in the 20 to 29 range, 3 for 3, 30 for 39 range, 1 for 1, 40 to 49 range, 0 for 2, 50 to 59 range, 2 for 2. So 51 and 55. Those are the two ones that he's made over 55 over 50 yards. Those are 51 and 55-yard kicks. So this is a guy that's got plenty of leg. But when you're talking about beyond the 40-yard mark, he's 50%. So when you're talking about a defense that Texas has that really tends to go and operate under the bend not break attitude, that probably lends well with us with I believe it's Matthew Shipley is the guy's name. I know for sure it's Shipley, but Matthew Shipley. So that's where Texas stands on the injury front. Yes, Paxton, this is live. Yes, this is live. I Hey, you know what? If this seemed like it was like an actual video that I was putting out that wasn't live, I'll actually take that as a compliment. I'm sorry about the glitching and the camera is going wild. Can't really do anything about that, but it is what it is right now. For right now, but so moving on to the Arkansas offense, I guess I want to start with Jaquan Jackson, but let me go ahead and let me get this off the screen right there. And well, just actually, while I might as well, that this line has now actually moved to a 12 and a half. So opened at 16 and a half, dropped down to 12, moved up to 12 and a half. So uh, the line movement has kind of started to settle down a little bit, but it is still moving just slightly. Texas ESPN matchup predictor has us favored pretty well. No, we're talking about Taylor Green here. Okay. All right, so Taylor Green, as you can see, this offense is under his operation is a pretty successful offense. I mean, points per game they could be a little bit better, but as far as yards per game goes, this is a top 15 team. What betting site do I use? I'm just that's all stuff off ESPN. I actually don't use a betting site. If I do anything, I'll do some underdog pick'em slips. But if you do, use code Nash for your first deposit. Get your first deposit match 100% from $10 up to $100. But don't use any. I don't like. I mean, I don't place any bets. Not saying I wouldn't. I mean, I would like to place bets on my Texas Longhorns. I'd have made some money last couple of years, but nevertheless, that is all those numbers that you see right there. That is odds by ESPN Bet. You can see it at the very top. Uh, so go back to here. As you can see, the that says Florida offense versus Arkansas defense. Ignore that. That's the Arkansas offense versus the Texas Longhorns defense. The labels are correct. These little deals are correct, but those aren't. But so Arkansas offense, top 15 offense, depending on what category you want to look at outside of scoring, they're pretty good. And really, it's in the passing game. Normally, when you look at a guy like Taylor Green and you see a quarterback with his ability to run, you'd assume, okay, yeah, you know what, these guys can run the football. And especially when they got a guy like Jaquan Jackson who's averaging 5.8 yards per attempt, and Texas fans would know. I mean, that's a pretty athletic dude. I mean, he played quarterback for us, and easily could be a extremely mobile quarterback that's very successful. But he wanted to go play other positions, and we just didn't want him to do that. He went to Utah, and he was a pretty damn good running back at Utah in his own right. But so Taylor Green, the one thing that I wanted to point out about his rushing is it may seem to be better than it actually is. And what I mean by that is when you look at since SEC play versus ranked teams. So that means starting on September 28th when SEC play started, and he's playing Texas A&M. I'm not talking about University of Alabama Birmingham. I'm not talking about Arkansas Pine Bluff. I'm not talking about Oklahoma State. I'm talking about or Mississippi State. I'm talking about ranked teams, and specifically good to middle of the road or good to middle tier SEC teams. In those games, 38 rushes for 7 yards total. 59 of that is after contact. What does that tell me? That tells me he's running for his life back there. Couple things. One, he's extremely athletic and it's hard to bring him down when you think you got him down. Two, their offensive line is bad. And I guess let's just go ahead and do a little live exercise real quick right here. I do have this site, Cultural Data, that I like to use. Pretty good site. We're going to find out just real time what the Arkansas offensive line is looking like. Charts, team metrics. We'll just go ahead and we'll do. I know this isn't passing, but we'll just do it among the SEC. Okay, that's actually not bad. So that leads me to go to. Y'all don't get to see this because I don't want to get sued or get in trouble. But let me go to because I just want to see because this is what I've seen is I have seen this. I'm not gonna act like I've sat there and watched every single game of Arkansas. But yeah, at least the PFF grades are telling me, look, 84.2 pass blocking grade versus Arkansas Pine Bluff. But what about these ranked games I'm talking about? Okay, Texas A&M 72.3, 68.6 versus Tennessee, 59.2 versus LSU, 57.0 versus Ole Miss. So when they're playing teams that have legit SEC bodies, legit SEC depth, they struggle to pass block. And but it also tells me that it's hard to bring the guy down. He's an extremely athletic guy, but at the same time, he's not getting much yet once he gets past the line of scrimmage. As you can see right here, this is really not typical of the quarterback that you think would run the football a lot, like Talon Green does. So he is a good passer, and I think with that, I think what you're seeing right here is when he takes off, you have to remain disciplined as a defensive back, especially. It's hard. Do you come up and try and help out and tackle Talon Green, or do you stay on your man? I think you have to stay on your man until it seems like it's too late. Because if you abandon your guy and Talon Green hasn't passed the line of scrimmage yet, he can hit a deep shot. And as you can see right here, explosive plays. They're fifth in the nation in explosive plays. They're 12th in the nation in explosive plays when you're talking about passing wise. This is going to be a legit battle between Texas and Arkansas on the explosive play front because as you can also see, Texas on the explosive play front on defense is number one as well in both overall and passing. We've allowed one 20-plus yard play rushing. We've allowed 15 total 20-plus yard plays. We've allowed 14 passing. That is a major reason for why the University of Texas is sitting here at 8-1 right now. It would be far worse. That Georgia loss would have been that thing should have been 42-0 at the half. Should have been 42-0 at the half, and the fact that it wasn't was a major piece of respect for Texas defense. So Jaquin Jackson, 10 touchdowns. All those are on the ground. He is. I'm not going to call him a threat out of the backfield, but he's capable. 12 targets, 11 receptions, 125 yards receiving. Jaquin Jackson is responsible for 33% of the rushing attempts, 103 rushes, 34 missed tackles on those 103 rushes. I'm not sure how many on the receiving game, but 5.8 yards per attempt. He is getting 3.75 yards after contact per attempt. The one that I just mentioned Texas has only allowed one 20-plus yard rush all season long. Well, Jaquin Jackson is hitting. They don't have data on 20-plus yard rushes, but 15-plus yard rushes, he's hitting those at a 9.7% rate. He has 10 of those on 103 rushes. He has 20 10-yard rushes on 103 attempts. That's 19.4 10-yard rushes that go for 10 yards or more. This is a guy that busts off. And as you can see, right here, Texas has allowed 25 all season long. And just like on the passing, 10-plus yard rush plays, Arkansas is an explosive offense. So to hold this offense and to remove that's where really, I think that Texas could. I'm respecting Arkansas. I've already done that. I've given them 17 and 13 points. I originally had 17 points. I kind of said, you know what, I need to respect this Texas defense even more. So I knocked it down from 17 to 13. Just look, 1 Arkansas touchdown and 2 Arkansas field goals. I feel like that is respectable, especially versus this. To do that against this Texas defense Like that's a. And I'm sorry, this camera's going wild. It's bothering me, but that's a legit accomplishment to do this against this Texas defense to put up 17 points. A team that averages 12.1 points per game. I think that's very that's a lot of respect. Now, a lot of it, I do think they are going to get probably that touchdown or some of those field goals towards the end of the game when it's less consequential, but still, you are still getting those points. Uh, Armstrong, 84 targets. That is tied for 16th in the FBS. So out of 134 teams, this is a legit wide receiver that's a target hog, but he's only had one touchdown. 857 yards. Now he is tied for first in the SEC. We've played the other guy, Keon Coleman. Uh, not the NFL Keon Coleman, but different one. But Mississippi State. So it's not like this is some guy that we've never seen before, and our Texas defensive backs are finally being tested. They've never been tested all season long. I have extreme faith in our Texas defensive backs to go out there and do the job, and especially when you're talking about specifically when you're talking about the ability to not lose, not containment, because that's mainly just the defensive ends, but to just maintain your responsibility. If you have a certain responsibility for a certain area on the field, I trust our defensive backs to do that, and I also trust our safeties and defense backs to go out there, and I say it all season long, and I'll keep on saying it. Stop loss guys. That's what these guys are. Uh, they go out there, and anytime that there's a this is they're the main reason why we have explosive plays so limited, is because, and especially in the rushing game too. It's easy to say that for the passing attack, but for the rushing attack as well, because when guys break past the first and second levels, and they're going out there for to the third level of defense, these guys are stopping it, and they're not allowing anything to go. I believe. Let me let's do another little window capture deal. Okay. So go to CFP stats. I believe Texas has not allowed a scrimmage play over 50 yard. No, we've allowed one 50-yarder. Yeah. Okay. And then I believe that one was a pass play as well. So if we go and we look long passing plays, 50 yards. Oh no, that was a rush play. Not yet. Yes, so Texas has not allowed a pass play over 40 yards. Only two pass plays of 40 yards or more. Three pass plays of 30 yards or more, or four pass plays of 30 yards or more. And then if you go and you look at the rushing, I mean, this is where we at? Oh, we're down here because it's the one. That'll be easier to see right here. We are tied for 13 with one of 40 yards or more, but go back down to here. One of 30 yards or more. And so this is really, if you're picking up on a trend right here, these are all the same rush. That's they had. There's one rush that has gone past 20 yards, and that thing stopped around the 50-yard mark or something like that. So, this is a in 10 yards or more rushes. Is that do I have that right on here? I have it as eighth. That must have changed. No, we are eighth. I don't know why I said ninth. I was looking at small text. Small text didn't really see it that well. But yeah, so I mean, as you can see right here, I mean, this Texas defense. They're extremely this is an extremely good defense at stopping the explosive plays. And when you're talking about an offense like Arkansas that almost specifically exclusively relies on explosive plays, man, you can really start to hurt them. You can start to take away really everything that they do and operate as an offense. But this is where this area of the field, as you can see, the charges changed. Things start to go and really tilt into Texas' favor. Uh, I see Extreme Gamer Mac. You got Texas. You got Arkansas. 34-17. You're about to find out my prediction here in a second, but yeah, I've already told you. I've already told you the Arkansas score if you're paying attention. Uh, but yeah, so this is where you see things can really start to tilt into Texas's favor on Arkansas on defense, specifically the pass defense. I mean, and you go back to this, they're missing three defensive backs. One which was a legit starter, another which is a legit depth guy, and then the other that didn't really do too much, you know. But when you're talking about going up against a Texas team that's really good in the pass, it hurts. It really does start to hurt Arkansas. Uh, yeah, no, hey, Benjamin, just ignore Mac. This guy is a legit Oklahoma troll. He's an Oklahoma fan, legit Texas troll. He's always trolling out here, but I do appreciate him because he actually comes and watches these things and actually comments. So I do appreciate that. So I will say thank you, Mac, Extreme Gamer Mac. Never thought I'd say that, but nevertheless, just did. Uh, and I do have the labels right on this one. So if you like that, drop a like on the videos. Hit that like button for him, Mac. But yeah, so Texas passing offense. I mean, we're third and 20+ yard pass plays. The one area that this is no secret to Texas fans is the rushing game just needs this rushing attack needs to get better. And if we can get the rushing attack better, then I actually do think this is a legit case for a national championship team. I think already with this defense, we're a national championship team, and specifically also the offense. But I mean, I would just be full bore 100%. This is happening if we had a legit rushing attack. Uh, Now also the points, just overall like total offense, that that would go up. These top ones, these top categories up here. Uh, these things right here, those would just skyrocket up if Texas had a legit rushing attack, specifically the fourth down conversion. Fourth down and third down conversions, we'd probably be leading the nation in that. Red zone scoring, we'd be leading the nation in that. Like this would be Texas would be one of those teams that we talk about, and this Texas team, if we could sit there and go knock teams' teeth out and run the ball, uh, this would be a Texas team that people talk about in 15, 20 years, saying, "Can't do you think teams from today could go back and beat that Texas team and all that?" And so that is kind of one thing that I wish that we had, but it is what it is. Patrick Roberts, good evening, Longhorn Nation. How are we feeling? I'm feeling all right, man. I'm feeling good. I don't like when I feel this confident. Last time I felt this confident in the season was Georgia and Michigan. One of those ended up being an absolute massive blowout. No, that didn't work. The other, not so much. Well, depending on how you look at it, it might have been a blowout. Depending on how you look at it, but so I'm liking our Texas Longhorns chances. The one thing that I will say is really kind of nice, especially for the away games, because I'm hopefully going to have this every play out immediately as soon as the game's over. But I love when it's an away game, 11 a.m. kicks. If I'm watching at home, so if I'm at home, I wake up, I fucking hate it. Excuse my language, but I hate it. Oh, big man said, "Hey, you better stop that cussing. I'll take that damn camera away from you." Uh, but I can't stand having to wait for football. Like we had, what was it? Let me see. What game was it that we had recently? Jesus, this camera is going absolutely wild. I don't know if it's OBS or the camera. At this point, who knows? Let me see. Was Vanderbilt the? It had to have been at Van. Oh yeah, it was Vanderbilt. Okay, because Vanderbilt was a 3:15 kickoff, and I just remember being like the morning games just agony, pure agony. Because the only games that we had that was our first away game after yeah, that was our first away game since after Michigan. Now, because the Oklahoma game, that's not technically an away game, and then also I was at that game, so that didn't really that was a lot different. But I will say too, this goes for the Oklahoma game. I want that at 11 a.m. now. I thought I was one of these. I want a late game. No, 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 no. I don't like the driving up. The drive up is enough for me. That's enough build up. That's enough build up for me. I want that game now, right? Like I want to play it. I want to find out the results. I don't want to be sitting there. I want to find out. I want to find out results now, ASAP, stat. Yeah, hey Benjamin. If you were watching Ghost of 40 Acres, watching his live stream earlier, I I don't think that Georgia blew us out. That's just my personal opinion. Hard to say that a team blew you out when you had a 23 to nothing lead, and then that 23 to nothing lead shrinks down when the other team that had 14 yards of offense in the first half, when they decide, oh hey, there's this sport called football. Let's go start playing this sport called football. And then when they start playing the sport called football, that defense is still playing fantastic lights out. And then your lead streaks down to an 8-point lead, and you're at 3rd and 10 on your 11. That's hard to call that a blowout. Hard to call that a blowout when you have that moment that late in the game, almost at the start of the fourth quarter. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Texas really kind of put themselves in a situation where kind of had to keep going for it, and then that's what allows the points to separate. But yeah, Benjamin, I do agree. That I don't necessarily I wouldn't really call it a blowout, but I could understand why some Georgia fans would want to call it a blowout. I look, full transparency. If the shoe was on the other foot, I would be calling it a blowout. That's 100%. But back to I don't like waiting for football games. I don't like waiting for football games. I want to play them now. So that game being on at 11 a.m. tomorrow, very thankful for that. Because I'm either going to find out I'm just absolutely pissed off for the rest of the day, or I'm in a great mood and just watching absolute carnage. Just grab the popcorn like that Seinfeld gif. Grab the popcorn and just sit there and just sit back on the sofa and watch everybody freak out and get pissed off from other fan bases. But so Arkansas 11 a.m. on ABC. This is as always, SEC's got us going now to the ABC network. Let me see. Yeah, this is probably our only 11. This is probably our last 11 a.m. kickoff of the year. So if you're like me and you don't like if you don't like waiting for games, enjoy this one while you got it, because I can almost guarantee you that A&M game is going to be a 8 p.m. kick. I will look for the every play to be out. I will hopefully have that every play out as soon as possible, as soon as the game is over. Luckily, the every play does not rely on a $300 or $200 piece of shit camera that can't stop doing this glitching crap. So, and on that note, my camera's deciding to freeze. Hope you all have a great day. And as always, hook 'em. And it did. It's glitching now.